suck in a lot more air. But if you go over 130, they automatically come down.
What's up, people? How about a tale of two Murcies? Dude, why do you have two Murcielagos here?
I don't honestly know. Freddie Tavares just called and said, "Hey, do you mind if I ship my car to your house?"
You do have an awesomely ridiculous life. Tavares is like, "Hey man, I'm gonna send my Lambo to your house."
Yes, so it showed up a couple of days ago. He's coming tomorrow to pick it up. But yeah, so at the moment we've got two, both gated manuals, both YouTubers' cars, I suppose, as weird as it is to call myself that. But his is actually a Canadian, originally delivered 2003. Mine is a US 2007.
Okay.
All of the 2002s and 2003s were actually manual cars. So they didn't introduce E-Gear as an option until the year the Gallardo came out, 2004. And so obviously this one was extensively modified aesthetically for the Fast and Furious movie, Fast and Furious 8 or Fate of the Furious.
Right, because obviously, I mean, there's things going on down low, the front and rear bumper, obviously the wing, I mean, things were blacked out.
So this is the Premier 4509 body kit. And so it has the front and rear bumpers modified, obviously a different exhaust, this wing, which like your wing on your Viper looks like it can be adjusted, but it actually cannot. And originally it appeared they were going to paint the cars a Rancio Atlas, which was the pearlescent orange that was available on the Mercy.
I really like that color.
But since the movie came out, I don't know, Fast and Furious 7, the one that the Lycan was in, was 2015. I would guess this was a 2017-ish movie. And so they went with Rancio Argos, which was the color, the launch color for the Aventador. So it was never available on Mercies. It's a really cool reddish pearlescent orange and definitely a unique color. He went with a more traditional orange stitching on the interior, and I'll confess his interior is otherworldly awesome.
It's gorgeous.
I absolutely love it.
And the carbon is insane.
Yeah, so he went with a forged carbon interior, which is now an option on the Huracan, but it was never an option on the Mercy. So the earlier cars have a suspension adjustment right behind the gated shifter. The steering wheel is aftermarket. The hexagonal stitching pattern became a Cusatura stitching option on the Huracan, but was never on the Mercy. So it's kind of blended a lot of historic Lamborghini options together, which I think is really cool. You'll see the difference between his and mine. He has the bat wings tripped up. Murcielago was named after a famous fighting bull, but that bull was named after the Spanish word for bat. So it means bat. It was obviously used in The Dark Knight and in the
did he
Batman
fix
Begins.
these here so they don't go up and down?
Correct. So if they're up, they come up when it's hot or the coolant temperature goes up, or when you're at a certain combination of engine temperature, oil temperature, speed, things like that. But if they're up and you turn the battery off, they stay up.
Oh, I see.
That sets it as the new normal. And so he's kept his up. I tend to keep mine down.
But
so,
does his still function? If you
yeah. So there's a sequence where you cycle the key and hold the button to keep them up, and then they'll reset. They'll flap up and down.
I'm mistaken, these relate to radiator cooling?
They do, yes. They obviously suck in a lot more air, but if you go over 130, they automatically come down, unless you've tricked them up. So you have to be careful when you have them up, because they're prone to crack. They're obviously carbon fiber, and the first car I had, somebody had them up when they were driving it really, really fast, and it had a nice crack all the way down.
When you go that fast, you don't need that much air going in there. You're literally you've got a parachute.
Correct. Yes. So you want to go back down to a lower drag form. Obviously, this is what they look like down. So in 2007, we saw the second generation of the Lamborghini Murcielago, the LP640. And this was actually one of the launch colors and the primary press color for the LP640. The one that was actually tested by Jeremy Clarkson on Top Gear was spec'd almost exactly like this. And there was a model made of it. Very interestingly, the Mercy did less than a second off the Ferrari Enzo's lap time around the Top Gear's test track. So we went from a 6.2 liter V12 with 580 horsepower to a 6.5 liter V12 with 631 horsepower, 640 PS.
Well, that's the thing that I came to realize. I love Murcielagos, and I love the gated ones especially, but they're performant. They're not just a big ungainly Lambo that a lot of people think of. their performance is unreal.
Yeah, they're very fast.
What are
and
the
they
other
pull forever?
What are the other cars they compare to or beat that you?
I mean, you have similar straight line performance, especially over 100 to a Porsche Carrera GT, a Mercedes McLaren SLR.
Right.
I mean, all of the hyper cars of that day, and 211 mile an hour top speed for a car like this was world beating essentially at the time. This car in 2002 actually set the world record for fastest 100 miles, fastest 100 kilometers, and the furthest distance driven in an hour.
Some at Nardo rig?
Yeah, at Nardo. That's
Gotcha.
where they used to do it. So the previous record was held by the Ferrari 550 Maranello. And it's, it's just one of those really, really cool cars. They're considerably more rare than the Aventador, which came after it. Diablos are a bit more rare.
Well,
but
these were kind of out when the supercar explosion started to happen.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
this was like the last thing that was being built, and they're still largely like tubular frame in many ways.
Correct, yeah. So it's not the most technologically advanced car. One of the things I love most about it, the reason I've owned 5 of them personally, is that it has everything that makes a modern car pretty usable and everything that makes vintage exotics awesome. So the presence, the experience, everything that goes with it is just as cool as it could ever be.
True.
But at the same time, it's just an otherworldly driving experience that is something I can hop in and drive pretty much every day.
Well, it's usable. You and I were sitting in like stop rush hour traffic, and it was fine.
It does just fine.
Yeah.
So this kind of allows you to see some of the differences. You'd have a little bit of a simpler rear bumper, simpler front bumper, but this is what the early car looks like. This is what the LP640 looks like. And the further generation would be the LP670-4 Super Veloce, the SV. That was made just in model year 2010 in the US. Some were produced in 09, titled as 09 in the rest of the world. There were 3 in the US and 4 in the rest of the world. So there's 6 or 7 total, and they're worth easily $1 million, if not 2. Yeah. But in the US, one has over 32,000 miles. One has been totaled, and one is owned by a kid who says he'll never sell it.
Okay, whatever.
Who would blame him?
Yeah.
So
no, which Fast and the Furious was this in?
that was in Fate of the Furious, Fast and Furious 8.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then the Lycan build is 7.
Exactly.
Cool.
And so this one was one of 3.
This was actually
prepared. Yeah, so this was kind of the hero car. So the
Yes.
big sliding shots on the ice with Tyrese was this one. One was disassembled to put into the water, where he kind of runs off the iceberg and into the water. And then I think the door pops off and he like gets pulled behind a boat or something like that on the door.
Right.
And then the third eventually became the Fast and Furious live car. So it was actually completely motor swapped with a Jaguar engine and powertrain.
That's crazy.
And I recently bought the motor to that car. So it's sitting over there, and that's how I ended up getting the Lycan. It was all owned by someone who had kind of gotten it out of the liquidation of assets of the Fast and Furious live entity. But that car was one of the few that was also used in the film. And so, or one of the films, the Charger body was also used, the one that Sam Hard, the guy I got all this stuff from, had bought and turned into the NAS Charger.
Right. So what's Tavares going to do with this? Does he enjoy driving? I've seen some of his build, but now that it's kind of together and went to SEMA,
Yeah, he loves the car. I mean, it's certainly the most complete, usable, and fully functional car I think he's had as any of his projects.
Oh, I see. Yeah, he does a lot of projects.
He's gotten some amazing offers on the car. I was offered this car, and I thought about buying it and then selling this Porsche 993 and using this as the giveaway. But since this was being sold by essentially Universal, they were not okay with that. So they actually didn't want it on the road ever again. Because when we found it, when he bought it, there was only one seat. There was a terribly done roll cage all the way into the engine bay. There was no center glass.
Really?
The key was disabled.
But he actually bought it from Universal.
Correct, yeah. So via the guy who prepped the cars. Yeah, and the paint was abysmal. It had been painted in Iceland in a parking lot. Because they changed the color at the last minute. Yeah, it was awful. And so he's done obviously new interior, completely gone through the car mechanically, and now it's a proper functioning car. I'd say it runs just about as well as any other Mercy.
He started with something that was pretty rough, but honestly, this is a very pretty car.
Oh yeah, it was the cheapest Mercy that anyone could have bought on Earth.
Yeah.
Perfect YouTube premise, right? So he did a great job with it. He had some amazing sponsors and got it to the finish line, which for YouTube projects is a big achievement. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
When did he start this one? Was it late last year?
So when I moved into this house with this garage, he was the first guest to show up and tell car stories here. And he did so with Andrew from Avalon King on his way back from Los Angeles. So they had this with them on the trailer. We tried to get it started, but the battery was so shot we couldn't do it. So it stayed on the trailer, but I was the first person to see it on his way back.
That's cool.
It was very cool.
Right on. Well, very exciting.
Yeah.
It's fun to be around the cars you like. You know, you don't get to see them enough.
That's right. They're a lot of fun. I mean, to me, there's just nothing more quintessentially an exotic supercar than a Mercy. They're special, they're unique. There's only 4,099 of them ever produced for the entire world. Of these, the manual LP640s, there's only 28 that came to the US. This one is now the second highest mileage one in the world. It's got 43,000 miles. I think I have to get to 49 to be the highest mileage manual LP640 anywhere. So I certainly hope to do that sometime next year. All right, on then.
I appreciate you looking around.
Absolutely.
Like it's going to be fun.
Sounds great.
You guys share it.
Good luck.
More to come, and thanks. See you guys.